All right, let's go out to the River Islands guest line. All guests on 95.7 The Game appear on the River Islands guest line. Isn't it time for you to discover the islands, River Islands in Lathrop? Let's bring in Mike Dunleavy, the general manager of the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, he was busy a week ago and plenty before that. Mike, thanks for joining us. And I'll just start with Jimmy Butler. He's played 3 games. And what have you liked so far in those 3 games as a Warrior?
Well, hey guys, thanks for having me.
Sure.
I think as far as Jimmy goes, what I've liked is the player. This is a guy that's a really, really good basketball player, and I think maybe some of that was lost with all the stuff going on in Miami. But for us to be able to add him mid-season, we just felt like that was the right piece to add. We needed an infusion of talent at the top of the roster, and to get Jimmy is huge. And I think these first few games have shown just what he can bring to the team on both ends, the playmaking defensively, offensively, getting to the rim, getting fouled. It kind of brings a whole new dynamic and element to our team that we felt like we needed. And, last night was tough, disappointing loss for sure, but I think we're heading in the right direction.
Mike, job well done. That's me. Nobody cares, but job well done. But let me ask you this, man. As much as you can you take us to the last 48 hours leading up to the trading deadline? Because from fans' perspective, all we're doing is hearing these reports left and right, refreshing Twitter. But what's it like for you the last 2 days leading up to the deadline?
Yeah, it's madness. It's pretty crazy. I mean, frankly, for me, the 10 days before was pretty busy and wild. But narrowing it down to those last 48 hours when we were able to secure the deal with Jimmy, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of stuff put out there. And for me, just trying to keep the blinders on and stay focused on making a deal. I felt like for this team, we knew what we needed. We needed to make a move. And you don't want to just make a move to make a move, but knowing those two things, if we had to get better and it would feel good to make a move, there was a lot of pressure and necessity to do that. So it was a lot going on, but I feel like we got what we needed to do done. And it was exciting. It went from, a little nerve-wracking and maybe a little just stuff was up in the air to having the certainty of getting a player like Jimmy felt great.
Mike, and we're joined by Mike Dunleavy, the general manager of the Golden State Warriors. Mike, one thing I've always been fascinated with, and I'm not looking for details, but Pat Riley runs Miami, and I guess they have Andy Ellsberg, who's their vice president. You guys have you. I know Kirk. You work closely with Kirk. I mean, how many people in each front office are kind of making calls, and to what level of another team's front office, and then if you get information, who do you take it to? I mean, do you have like 3 or 4 people making contact with other teams, or is it solely you?
No, it's mostly me. I've got a great support staff, and we definitely connect with other teams in different ways. And a lot of my guys reach out and feel things out. But a deal like the Butler deal, that's mostly me and Andy and Pat. Those high level things are, you can't get too many people involved. And I'm obviously keeping, Joe and Kirk really in the loop on this stuff. But those types of deals are pretty small. And, a lot was reported about the Luka deal with Dallas. I mean, you saw what that was. Just a few people know. And that's generally how these things go when you get talking about, high-end players and big moves.
Hey, Mike, it's kind of funny. A lot of times, a lot of fans and people from the outside think you guys are robots and don't have emotion. But, again, just me asking you, walk us through you trying to add a player to this team to become better, and then also having to say goodbye to a guy that's been a great Golden State Warrior, and Andrew Wiggins, who definitely was emotional about it.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. I mean, I told the team the day the deadline passed, this is our team, but don't get it twisted. This is my least favorite time of year. I know the players are a little uneasy about it. They're a little bit on edge. Well, so am I. So is our front office. We don't like trading players. We like the guys we have, but this is a business. We need to be better. It's results oriented, and we felt like we needed to do a move that got us to where we want to go. And so, talk to Wiggs, not an enjoyable call. He's a pro. He understands. And I think the biggest thing from our end is just the appreciation we have for him and what he's brought to our franchise. And that'll never go away. He's always welcome back. Who knows? Maybe he moves back to the Bay Area when he's done playing or whatever. But yeah, tough thing to do. But you got to swallow it and do what's best for the organization. I feel like that's what we did.
Mike Dunleavy joining us on 95.7 The Game. I know, you sent out 4 players and you brought back 1, and then you guaranteed Quentin Post. For people out there who may not be fluent in salary cap ease and stuff like that, is my understanding right that you have to sign at least 1 more player and you can do more than that? But are there any restrictions you have in terms of the buyout market and all that stuff?
Yeah, for the time being, we have 12 guaranteed roster spots. We can only carry 12 for a couple of weeks. So we'll do something coming out of the All-Star break next week. We'll probably add a couple spots as the rules work. And then we'll see. We can do that in a fashion of ways, whether it's 10-day contracts for short term, or we can sign rest of season contracts. There's ways to do it, which we'll do. And then from there, the buyout market stuff is always, flowing. We basically have until the end of February for players to become available that will be playoff eligible. So we'll monitor that. But, for the most part, we've got 12 good players. We like our team. We're comfortable with that. I mean, if something comes up that we feel like makes us better, we'll jump on it. But, we like the guys we have. And at this point, we're probably going to be adding into the roster players, which is good. I mean, maybe that comes from our G League. Maybe that comes from the buyout market or the open market. But, that's the way we're looking at it right now. I don't see any saviors coming in that we're going to sign that are free. Those are pretty rare. But the good news is, based on our apron status and where we're at, we are eligible to sign buyout players if one did become free.
Oh, wow. Hey, Mike, I'm curious, man. I want to ask you this question. I know in the offseason you guys were rumored to be attached to Paul George marketing, and it didn't happen. And I'm wondering, did you feel, at the deadline, any added pressure to get a deal done? And was there relief when you got Jimmy Butler in a Warrior uniform and that extension?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know there's any added pressure. It just felt like watching the team this season, I felt like something needed to be done, and I felt like we needed to add talent. So making that happen is not easy. You heard about the stuff this summer. It's hard to make deals. It's hard to acquire high-end players. So to be able to get a player of Jimmy's caliber, we're really fortunate that guy's available at all. And then to be able to get a deal done, to have the assets to do that, the matching salary and all that. So, yeah, I mean, I guess there's a sense of relief. I think maybe just in general with the deadline passing, kind of move on to basketball here, focus on our team, watch some college basketball, get ready for the draft. That stuff sort of shifts, and it's nice to have the trade stuff behind us.
Mike, when did you overlap with Jimmy as a player? Was it his rookie year?
No, we played together in Chicago for 3 years. I think it would have been his second, third, and fourth.
Okay.
And I was, I don't know.
Yeah, let me ask you about that, because in those 3 years, he went from 8.6 to 13 and then 20 points per game. I mean, what did you see in him that made him a player you would end up trying to acquire, 14 years later?
Well, ironically, I think when we built out our player development program, he, to me, is like the prototype of how player development should go. You draft a guy at the end of the first round. He plays a little bit his rookie year. His second year, he takes another step. His third year, he takes off, and the rest is history. And Jimmy, I saw it firsthand, the work he put in on a daily basis, the way he was coached and drilled, and it was fun to see. But I also knew, playing with him as a teammate, being in high-pressure situations, being in the playoffs, what it's like to be in a foxhole with the guy. And for that reason, I felt he'd be a perfect fit here. And I know you age and things change over time, but I knew those were some of his core principles that have made him who he is as a pro. And for that reason, just felt like it was as close to a no-brainer as possible for us to make this deal and get a player of his stature.
Hey, Mike, I'm one of those guys, I'm not fixated on the birth certificate, but a lot's being made. Butler's 35, Curry about to be 37, and Dre's in his 30s. That doesn't scare me. I'm the eye test guy. Let me see what it looks like. Can you walk us through, and you kind of did, adding another 30-year-old to Steph Curry and Draymond Green, that kind of signals to me that that Steph has a lot left.
Yeah, we think all three of those guys do, just from watching them play. And I think you're kind of the mid-30s, the 34, 35, 36 is a lot younger than it ever has been. I mean, you look at LeBron, what he's doing with the Lakers at 40, with modern medicine, the way the guys take care of their bodies, the way we watch them throughout the course of the season with load management. I just think guys have a lot more left in the tank based on maybe an age number, something like that. So I think we're good with where those guys are at. It kind of defines our timeline a little bit. We're committed to that. It's not like we're looking at something that's going to go on here 5-6 years with Steph and Draymond. So adding Jimmy just kind of lines up nicely. And now it's our job to kind of enhance around that and keep building. We like our young guys. We like the assets we have. So I think we're in good shape.
Mike, we're talking to Mike Dunleavy, general manager of the Golden State Warriors. Jonathan Kuminga's been injured. He's probably going to come back, I guess, hopefully shortly after the All-Star break. I know you're not the coach and you're not going to pretend to know about his role, but what do you as a franchise envision his impact to be when he comes back? How do you assess him back in this lineup and whether he can impact it in a positive way?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see from him what we kind of saw the last 6 games he played before he got injured. I thought he really was turning the corner in terms of some of the stuff he was doing offensively with attacking the rim, making plays, getting fouled, rebounding the ball. Defense was going to a different level. I mean, with the loss of Wiggins and Schroeder, we'll ask him to be even more on the ball, defending, primary threats on the other end. So I think there's a huge role for him. The biggest thing right now is just getting him back, getting him healthy, getting him back into shape and rhythm and all that. But I think we can use a guy like Jonathan Kuminga. In some ways, we're looking at like another addition after the trade deadline.
Hey, Mike, I know you can't tell me all your secrets and everything, but I am curious, and I think a lot of fans are, how involved what are the lines of communication with the vets, the OGs like Steph and Dre, that communication leading up to the deadline?
Yeah, I mean, I have great communication with those guys, whether it's leading up to the deadline or in free agency or really throughout the year on different stuff going on with our team. So that kind of is what it is. Those guys, I value their opinion just like I value people on my staff or coaching staff opinions, ownership opinions. So I'm the type of person that kind of takes everything in, wants to listen to people, hear what they have to say, and then make a good, sound decision.
Mike, this is your second All-Star game, but obviously you're in the host city. What's the difference between being the general manager of a team hosting the All-Star game as opposed to wherever it was last year that I can't remember?
Well, the big difference would be my presence. And when it's not in San Francisco, I don't really feel like I need to be there. Gotcha. But this time around as the host team, it's great. It's an incredible honor. I think our city will do a great job. Hopefully we get some better weather here, get the sun out. But otherwise, I think we're set up for it great. Our facilities are amazing with Chase Center and Thrive City. And I think it'll be a really fun weekend. And it's kind of our opportunity to host and show off the Bay Area and the Warriors organization. And I know we'll do a great job.
Yeah, we're excited. Mike, before we let you go, I want to ask you about Buddy Hield. I mean, Curry's giving him run, and it's obvious, he's struggling a bit. But can you walk us through what you see through from Buddy Hield through the Mike Dunleavy prism?
Yeah, I think Buddy's had actually some pretty good games recently. Last night, wasn't one of his better ones, but we need his shooting. We need his offense. He brings really good energy to the team and the game. And, he's a guy that we're going to rely on as, the rest of the season. I think anytime you can surround guys like Draymond, Jimmy, and Steph with shooting, it's important. That's hard to find. And Buddy's a guy that can make shots. And, we're looking forward to him this weekend, the 3-point contest. It'll be fun to watch him there. But I think he'll have a nice second half of the season and, get a little break here and be ready to come back strong.
Mike, do you guys set a goal as a franchise either before the deadline or after the deadline? Or do you just go out and try to win as many games as you can? Or are you saying let's try to get to a certain number of wins or a certain spot in the standings?
Yeah, I think right now where we stand, we've kind of talked about it as the playoffs begin now. Every night matters. Yeah. Last night was just a huge, it felt like losing Game 5 on the road in a playoff series is really what it felt like. So that's how it's going to be for the next, 28, 30 games, however many we have left. Every night matters. These stadiums are so tight. Usually every night you're playing a not only playing the standings, but you may be playing a tiebreaker. Last night was a tiebreaker game for us against the Mavericks, and these games are counting double. So I would hope, everybody understands that, feels it, the players, the coaches. I mean, we got to be in playoff mode. That's the situation we put ourselves in right now with kicking some of these games throughout the year, which have been really, really disappointing. But, if you like the playoffs, might as well get it started early.
Yeah, no doubt, Mike. I'm looking at your young players, and I'm excited, but Quentin Post has emerged. What are you seeing from him, and what does he got to do to get more time? Because, he's rapidly becoming a fan favorite, a stretch five that we always wanted.
Yeah, Quinn can really shoot the ball. Obviously, we like that with him. And I think watching him in college, just his overall all-around game, good passer, good feel for the game. Defensively, he sees it. I think any rookie that comes in, you got to adjust to the speed, the physicality, the length, all those things. And he's getting there with that. But right now, at this point in the season, we're pretty pleased that he's a guy that Steve can start. He can throw in there for some minutes. I think he complements the rest of the roster pretty well. So we're excited about him now, and we're excited about him in the future.
Mike, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. I know you're busy this weekend. Try to enjoy it, and appreciate your time, man.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.